I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery.
According to this prime minister, these people are just mindless thugs who don't have genuine concerns and complaints. And to be honest, this is where I think the prime minister went wrong.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online. Right now, there are attacks happening on a hotel in Rotherham. Marauding gangs intent on law-breaking, or worse. Windows smashed, fire set ablaze, residents and staff...
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Absolute fear. There is no justification, none, for taking this action. And all right-minded people should be condemning this sort of violence. People in this country have a right to be safe.
That's true. But what does he mean by all right-minded people? This language is very dangerous. All right-minded people.
Yet, we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques, other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric.
That's so true. That's so true. But also, do acknowledge the fact that people are frustrated because they are not being listened to. All right? Are you going to address that, Prime Minister? Okay? Maybe this is not all to do with racism and Islamophobia. Maybe it's also to do with frustration. Of course, I don't condone anyone burning buildings or attacking mosques or hurting other people. I don't condone it. But let's look at both sides.
So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery. To those who feel targeted because of the colour of your skin or your faith, I know how frightening this must be. I want you to know that this violent mob do not represent our country, and we will bring them to justice. Our police deserve our support as they tackle any and all violent disorder that flares up. Whatever the apparent cause or motivation, we make no distinction. Crime is crime, and this government will tackle it. Thank you.
Far-right thuggery. Far-right thuggery. That's a label. It's dangerous to label people. Who's to blame? According to the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, the far-right thugs are to blame. According to this Prime Minister, these people are just mindless thugs who don't have genuine concerns and complaints. And to be honest, this is where I think the Prime Minister went wrong, labeling people as far-right thugs. So who's to blame? Who's to blame for the riots? Is it the far-right thugs, as the government has labeled them? I call them protesters. Why? Because not every one of those protesters are racists or pro-Nazi. Make no mistake, some are. But I don't believe all of them are. A lot of them are just ordinary English people that are tired of the government not upholding the law and protecting its citizens. Is it the Muslims? Whether people like the Islamic religion or not, it's neither here nor there. The fact is that this country is not a Muslim country or a Christian country. And Muslims are a minority. This country is a secular country. If the government wanted to ship every Muslim back to their Muslim countries, they could do it tomorrow. Muslims are not in charge of the government. Everything Muslims do and get away with doing is because the government allows it. Simple and plain. Or is it the government's fault? I think you guys know my answer already. It is the government's fault, guys. And when I say the government, I don't mean Labour or Tory. I'm talking about both, because it doesn't matter who's in power. When it comes to this issue that's been going on for a long time, both parties fail to uphold the law and protect its citizens. So what are the complaints against the Islamic community? Let's start with Pakistani British Muslim grooming gangs in northern England. In Rotherham and South Yorkshire alone, 1,400 girls under the age of 16 were sexually abused between 1997 and 2013, and the government knew about it for 10 years and didn't do nothing. This was revealed by former senior social worker Alexis J. And Rotherham wasn't the only place. In Greater Manchester and Rochdale and in Telford, it was also happening. Second, we have the terrorist attempts on British soil by Muslim terrorists. We have the London bombings in July 2005, killing 42 people. We have in June 2017, 3 Muslim men armed with knives drove into pedestrians on London Bridge. Once out of the van, they went around stabbing people. They killed 8 people in total. On the 22nd of May 2017, at Ariana Grande's concert, Salman Abedi, a suicide bomber, killed 22 people by blowing himself up and was aided by his brother Hashim Abedi. Then there's the Lee Rigby murder. A soldier returning to his barracks was murdered by 2 Muslims, Michael Adebolaju and Michael Adebowale, I believe. This year, the slogan "From the river to the sea" was allowed to be projected on the walls of the parliament during a Palestinian protest. By the way, England is not alone in these attacks. European countries have faced similar attacks by Muslims. Of course, I can't name them all. Muslims also make up 18% of the prison population when they are only 6.5% of the population in UK. Edward Little was stopped by counter-terrorism police on his way to murder a Christian woman by the name of Hatun, who is a preacher at Speaker's Corner. They found a gun on him. This was on the 15th of December 2023. Speaker's Corner, Edward Little jailed over Hyde Park gun attack plot. A man who planned a gun attack at central London's Hyde Park has been jailed for at least 16 years. Edward Little, 22, had intended to kill Christian preacher Hatun Tash after travelling from Brighton to the capital on 23rd of September last year. He travelled by taxi with £5,000 to buy a firearm and bullets in South London when he was stopped by police and arrested. In May, Muslim convert Little admitted preparing to commit acts of terrorism. He was sentenced in his absence after he refused to attend Friday's Old Bailey hearing. This same woman, Hatun Tash, was stabbed by another Muslim on the 10th of August 2021. An interview with Hatun Tash, the Christian preacher stabbed at Speaker's Corner. There she is. Hatun Tash is recovering well after being assaulted at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park last month. The attacker, who is still at large, appeared to aim for her neck, but Hatun deflected the knife so that it broke off in the folds of her clothes. Her bandaged right hand and scarred forehead are the only visible clues of her near escape. She tells me she started watching footage of the incident but couldn't bring herself to finish. All I can say is it wasn't my time. Personally, the biggest complaint I would say the English protesters, not the far-right thugs as the Prime Minister would have you believe, have against Muslims is that they don't find that Islam is compatible with Western values. And I agree. By the way, when I say Western values, I'm not talking about the Western values influenced by feminism, Marxism, secular humanism, evolution, etc. Those are evil, degenerate, satanic values. I'm talking about Western values influenced by Christianity before secularist ideologies corrupted it. Values like freedom of speech, welfare, human rights, etc. All of these values came from Christianity. And I agree. Islam as a religion is not compatible with Western Christian values like freedom of speech, human rights, etc. I believe the Islamic religion, not Muslims. Please understand the difference, guys. The Islamic religion, not Muslims. All right? I believe the Islamic religion is a violent religion and calls for violence against unbelievers. Surah 9, verse 29 says, fight those people of the book who do not believe in Allah. By the way, guys, people of the book are Jews and Christians, all right? Fight those people of the book who do not believe in Allah nor in the last day, and do not take as unlawful what Allah and His Messenger have declared as unlawful, and do not profess the faith of truth. Fight them until they pay jizya with their own hands while they are subdued. Okay? And if any Muslim tells you that this verse does not mean what it says and you are interpreting it wrong, then show them the historical context of the verse, which is found in Ibn Kathir, Battles of the Prophet, page 183. All right? Show them that.
So this is actually very easy. We'll do both right now. For the historical context, I'll read a quick passage from Ibn Kathir. This is Ibn Kathir's Battles of the Prophet, pages 183 to 184. So this is the historical background behind this verse, fight those who do not believe in Allah. That's right. He says, Allah Most High ordered the believers to prohibit the disbelievers from entering or coming near the sacred mosque. So as the historical background here, Ibn Kathir is saying, this is about Muhammad being ordered by Allah to tell the believers that the unbelievers, the pagans, the polytheists are no longer allowed to take the pilgrimage to Mecca, because the polytheists of Arabia would take a religious pilgrimage to Mecca. Allah is saying no more, they don't get to come here. On that, the Quraysh, that's Muhammad's tribe, Quraysh thought that this would reduce their profits from trade. So they're worried about their money. And there would be two reasons for this. As people are taking the religious pilgrimage to Mecca, they spend money while they're there. They stay there, they spend money. But also, you develop business relations with the people as they're coming and visiting. And if all of a sudden, hey, you unbelievers are unclean, stay away from us, now your trade is messed up. And so on that, Quraysh thought that this would reduce their profits from trade. So what's Allah going to do about the Quraysh being upset? Therefore, Allah Most High compensated them and ordered them to fight the people of the book until they embrace Islam or pay the jizya. Notice, until they embrace Islam. If they embrace Islam, they're paying zakat. They're paying money. That's right. The Muslim community is making money. Until they embrace Islam or pay the jizya. If they reject Islam and still want to remain Jews and Christians, then they have to pay the jizya. Either way, if you go out and fight them and win, they're either going to convert, in which case they're paying you, or they're not going to convert, but they're still going to have to pay you because they'll get killed if you don't. So Allah is going to compensate them for money they're losing by cutting off the pagans, cutting off the polytheists. He's going to compensate them by having them fight the Jews and Christians. So then Ibn Kathir quotes Surah 9, verses 28 and 29, which we'll read in a second. And he concludes, therefore the Messenger of Allah decided to fight the Romans in order to call them to Islam. Remember, if he goes out and fights the Romans, either they convert, in which case they're paying him, or they don't convert, in which case they're going to pay the jizya. Either way, you have to, you're going to make money off of them. That's the historical context according to Ibn Kathir. Hey, Allah...
There you go. There you go. And what do you think would happen if a Christian or a Jew refused to pay the jizya? Exactly. Any Muslim who wishes to debate me or even have a discussion on this, please email me on solutionpodcastofficial@gmail.com. Now, look at the Charlie Hebdo attacks. 17 people died because Muhammad, the Muslim prophet, was depicted in a cartoon. Or Salman Rushdie stabbed in the eye this year, April, in a murder attempt for writing a novel titled The Satanic Verses. He was stabbed 15 times in 27 seconds by a Muslim man. Salman Rushdie had a fatwa on his head since 1989 by Ayatollah Khomeini, a Iran religious leader who basically ordered his death because of a novel. Bishop Marie Emmanuel, a Orthodox bishop, this year again was also stabbed in the eye by a Muslim man.
Sydney is reeling this morning after an Orthodox bishop was attacked with a knife during a church service last night in what police have declared a terrorist act.
So to dismiss the English people as far-rights and racists as if they don't have a legitimate reason to be concerned about the Islamic community is to spit in the face of reason. It's to insult people's intelligence. It's also important to mention that the only minority group that the English have a problem with are mainly Muslims. For the most part, they don't have a problem with Sikhs, Hindus, Jews, or any other group. Now, are all Muslims terrorists and out to cause people harm? Absolutely not. The majority of any group of people, be it Muslim or otherwise, are not terrorists or out to cause harm to anyone. It's always a small number of people that perpetrate these evil acts.
We must be respectful towards the police. We cannot behave like thugs. You cannot wear masks and chant Allahu Akbar because this issue has nothing to do with Islam. So do not wear face masks. Do not join protests because they involve rioting, because we can have agent provocateurs, people entering the protest, inciting the crowd, and then just for throwing the stone you will be sentenced for years to jail. Our mosques are protected by the police. The police do their job. Let the police do their job. The police are protecting the mosques. And the far right is being used in order to bring in draconian laws into this country, but we Muslims should not become a toy piece in the hands of others. So I condemn protests or condemn rioting or throwing stones. Do not do this, it's counterproductive. I do not think in Bradford people need to be told this because of the Bradford riots that happened in 2001, but I am telling people in Birmingham and other cities and towns, do not fall for that trap.
As you can see on this video, Muslim religious leaders are asking Muslims not to retaliate. Like I said, I blame the government for not taking the concerns of the English people seriously and dismissing them as if they are nonsensical and ridiculous. Concerns like two-tier policing, allowing one group to break the law while coming down hard on the other. Immigration is also an issue. Almost 1 million immigrants were allowed in the UK in 2023. Even if the government believes that these concerns are nothing for the English people to be worried about, the least they can do is be respectful and listen to them and take them seriously. What you don't do is what the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, did, which was to rubbish them and label them as far-right thugs. I fear this situation is going to get worse because the Prime Minister is not taking people's complaints seriously. I do not condone any violence towards Muslims or English protesters. Violence only makes things worse, not better. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Peace.